Welcome to Mysteries and Crime, where we uncover the shadows lurking behind seemingly ordinary lives. Tonight, we dissect one of the most elaborate frauds in modern true crime, a deception so detailed, so perfectly crafted, that it fooled an entire community for nearly a decade. Amanda Riley, a wife, a mother, a fighter. At least that's what everyone believed. For 8 years, she played the role of a lifetime. An innocent woman, battling cancer, bravely documenting her struggles for the world to see. Gut-wrenching blog posts, emotional hospital updates, and tearful pleas about how chemotherapy was wearing her down. People rallied behind her. They sent donations. They organized fundraisers. They prayed for her. They wanted to believe her. But Amanda Riley never had cancer. There were no doctors, no chemotherapy, no exhausting nights filled with nausea, no radiation burns. It was all a lie so carefully constructed that even those closest to her never suspected a thing. For nearly a decade, she stole more than $100,000. But she stole something far more valuable than money. She stole trust, she stole faith, and when the truth finally came out, the people who had given their last dollar to help her fight for her life found themselves fighting something else. Betrayal. So how did she do it? How did she fool so many for so long? And most importantly, how did she finally get caught? Tonight, we break down the anatomy of the perfect con. Think you would have seen the red flags? Stay with us, and let's find out. Every great deception starts small, a single lie, planted carefully, that grows into something much bigger. For Amanda Riley, that lie wasn't an impulsive decision. It wasn't a desperate act in the heat of the moment. It was deliberate, calculated, and meticulously crafted. It started with a blog. She called it Lymphoma Can Suck It, a bold title for a bold deception. At first glance, the blog seemed raw, emotional, heartbreakingly real. Amanda wrote about the devastation of her diagnosis, the way her heart sank when she heard the words, "You have cancer." She painted a picture of a mother sitting in a cold doctor's office, her hands shaking as she clutched a clipboard filled with treatment options she didn't understand. She wrote about the fear of leaving her children without a mother, the helplessness of waiting for test results, the overwhelming medical bills stacking up on her kitchen counter. She knew how to make people feel her pain. She described the sting of needles piercing her skin as nurses struggled to find a vein, the nausea that hit her in waves after chemotherapy, the soul-crushing exhaustion that made even getting out of bed feel like an impossible task. She posted pictures, her arm hooked up to an IV, hospital wristbands with her name clearly visible, tired eyes staring at the camera, dark circles forming beneath them. She studied the way real cancer patients looked and spoke. She copied their mannerisms, their struggles, their fears. The details were just specific enough to be believable. And it worked. Her following grew. At first, people just left comments, prayers, words of encouragement, messages of support. "You've got this, Amanda. Stay strong, warrior." Sending you love and healing energy. Then, the donation started. $20 here, $50 there. It wasn't much at first, but Amanda had a gift. She never asked for money. She never had to. That was the genius of it. Her friends and followers did it for her. Someone suggested setting up a GoFundMe to help with medical bills. Someone else organized a charity event at a local church. Someone else made t-shirts with Team Amanda printed across the front. Before long, Amanda Riley had a steady stream of money pouring in, and as long as she played her role perfectly, it would never stop. Amanda wasn't just lying. She was directing a carefully controlled story. Every post was timed. Every update was calculated. She knew exactly when to post an emotional update. If donations slowed down, she would post about a bad chemo day, a long, tearful entry about how the treatment was taking its toll. She would describe how she had been too sick to play with her kids, how she felt like a burden to her family. She would write about the fear of not knowing if she would make it another year. And just like that, more donations. Amanda played on the unwritten social contract of illness. People don't question someone who is suffering. They comfort, they believe, they help. She wasn't just convincing people, she was manipulating them. And she did it so well that no one even thought to question her. Amanda's scam wasn't just a blog, it was a full-scale online production. She had Facebook posts, Instagram updates, GoFundMe donation links. She crafted the perfect social media presence of a strong cancer warrior. Inspirational quotes, selfies with captions like, "Some days are harder than others, but I refuse to give up." She interacted with her followers constantly, responding to comments, thanking people for their support, engaging in heartfelt conversations with other cancer patients. She even went as far as giving advice to real cancer patients. She told them what to expect during chemo. She offered words of encouragement about staying strong. She cried with them. Amanda Riley wasn't just playing a role. She had become the character, and that's why people believed her. The most brilliant part of Amanda's deception was how she made herself seem too strong to ask for help. She never begged for money. She never pressured anyone to donate. She always positioned herself as a fighter, someone who hated asking for help, but had no choice. That made people want to help even more. And because of that, the donations never stopped. The fundraisers never stopped. People wanted to support her battle because they believed she was too proud to ask for it herself. It was textbook emotional manipulation, and it worked flawlessly. At first, Amanda was making a few $100s a month. Then it turned into a few thousand. Then it turned into tens of thousands. Church groups organized charity drives. Local businesses donated a portion of their earnings to her medical fund. Online strangers, people who had never even met Amanda, were sending her money, convinced they were helping to save a life. The scam was growing, and so was Amanda's greed. She started living better. Expensive vacations, high-end shopping, luxury spa treatments. She kept records of every donation, tracking where the money came from, how much people gave, who she could guilt trip into giving more. The blog that started as a single lie had turned into $1 million illusion. Amanda Riley had built a perfect lie, and no one, not even her closest friends, had any idea. Every scam has cracks. Amanda's deception was airtight until it wasn't. The next part of the story? The small details that didn't add up. The red flags people ignored. The one phone call that destroyed everything. Because when the truth finally came out, it wasn't just shocking, it was devastating. No matter how convincing a lie is, eventually, cracks start to show. For Amanda Riley, those cracks started small, almost invisible. But once you knew where to look, they were everywhere. Amanda was careful. She controlled her story with surgical precision, making sure every detail seemed airtight. But even the best liars make mistakes. Her biggest mistake? She didn't look sick. Amanda claimed she was undergoing aggressive chemotherapy. She wrote about the toll it took on her body, how the treatments left her weak, exhausted, unable to function. She described the nausea, the weight loss, the bone-deep fatigue that made even getting out of bed feel impossible. But in real life, she wasn't weak, she wasn't exhausted. She wasn't wasting away, pale and frail, like most chemotherapy patients. Instead, she was seen out with friends. She was laughing, drinking, dancing. She was posting vacation pictures, beaches, restaurants, shopping trips, luxury spa days. Her followers saw these posts and felt relieved. Wow, she must be having a good day. So happy to see you smiling, Amanda. You're such a fighter. Because no one wanted to question her. No one wanted to be the person who doubted a cancer patient. And Amanda knew that. She used it. Anytime someone wondered how she could possibly be so energetic while undergoing grueling chemotherapy, she had a response ready. Some days are better than others. Chemo affects everyone differently. I have to live my life while I can. And for a while, people accepted those answers, until someone didn't. Her name was never made public, but she was one of Amanda's closest friends, and she was a nurse. At first, it was just a nagging feeling. Something about Amanda's illness didn't seem right. She had worked in oncology. She had seen real cancer patients, and Amanda didn't act like them. At first, the doubts were small, but then the questions started stacking up. Why didn't Amanda ever talk about the side effects? Real chemo patients lose their hair. They struggle to eat. They spend days in bed, too weak to move. Amanda? She was going on weekend getaways. She was getting her nails done. She was out in the sun, glowing, with a full head of hair. And then there was something even stranger. No medical bills. Not once had Amanda mentioned medical debt. She talked about how expensive treatments were. She accepted donations from strangers, but she never posted a GoFundMe update like, "We still owe $10,000 in hospital bills. Thank you for your help." There were no frantic posts about insurance battles. No screenshots of exorbitant bills from the hospital. Nothing. And then the nurse noticed something else. Amanda never mentioned her doctors. Not by name, not even vaguely. She never said which hospital she was being treated at. She never talked about a specific oncologist. She never shared stories about her nurses, her treatment team, or any other cancer patients she had met. It was always vague. At first, the nurse tried to push the doubts away. She told herself, maybe Amanda is just private about her doctors. Maybe she's just one of the lucky ones who handles chemo well. But then, Amanda avoided answering specifics. Every time someone asked about her treatment schedule, her medication, or what stage her cancer was in, her answers were deflections. She would laugh and say, "I don't want to bore you with all the medical stuff." She would change the subject. She would act offended and say, "I'd rather focus on living, not statistics." She would fake exhaustion and say, "Ugh, I can't even think about that right now. My brain is so fried." It was too much. Something wasn't right. The nurse had a gut feeling, and that gut feeling told her one thing. Check. Just check. Because if Amanda was telling the truth, it would be so easy to verify. So she did something that no one else had thought to do. She picked up the phone, and she called the hospital where Amanda claimed to be getting treatment. What she found? Nothing. No records, no chemotherapy appointments, no oncologist with her name on their patient list. Nothing. Amanda Riley had never been treated for cancer, and suddenly, the entire illusion started to fall apart. It started with a phone call. A single call. That shattered the illusion. For 8 years, Amanda Riley had built a perfect lie. She had crafted her image so carefully, so flawlessly, that no one ever thought to question her. Until now. The nurse hesitated before dialing. She had been friends with Amanda for years. She had prayed for her. She had cried for her. She had raised money for her. And now, she was about to find out if it had all been a lie. The phone rang once, twice. A receptionist answered. The nurse took a deep breath. "Hi, I just have a quick question. I'm looking for a patient of yours. Her name is Amanda Riley. She's been undergoing treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma." Silence. The receptionist checked the system. Then came the words that made the nurse's stomach drop. "I'm sorry. We don't have any records for a patient by that name." The nurse hung up. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was pounding. There had to be a mistake. Maybe Amanda was getting treated at a different hospital. Maybe she had used her maiden name. Maybe. But deep down, she knew. Amanda Riley had never been a cancer patient. She had never undergone chemotherapy. She had never needed donations. She had lied. And the moment the nurse realized that, she knew what she had to do. She had to tell someone. At first, it was just a conversation. The nurse confided in a close friend. That friend told another, and another, and another. Within days, the whispers spread like wildfire. People who had once believed Amanda without question started digging deeper. They went back and reread her blog posts. They rewatched her tearful video updates. They scrutinized her photos. And the more they looked, the more they saw the cracks. Amanda hadn't just faked cancer. She had faked everything. She had faked doctors' notes. She had faked medical records. She had faked prescriptions. She had faked text messages from doctors. She had faked sympathy. She had faked gratitude. She had faked pain. She had faked an entire life. And as the truth unraveled, so did her world. People who had once defended Amanda turned against her. People who had given her money felt sick to their stomachs. People who had supported her for years were now asking the same question. How did we not see this? And soon, it wasn't just friends and followers who were watching Amanda. It was the authorities. Anonymous tips started pouring in. Emails, phone calls, screenshots. People wanted justice. Law enforcement had received fraud cases before, but this one was personal. Amanda had taken money from good people. She had preyed on kindness. She had manipulated people's compassion. And she had gotten rich off of it. Investigators opened a formal case. They requested financial records. They pulled bank statements. They issued subpoenas. They traced every dollar. And what they found, it was worse than anyone had expected. Amanda Riley wasn't just a liar. She was a criminal. And now, she was about to pay the price. The first thing investigators did, they followed the money. Because money doesn't lie. And when they started digging into Amanda Riley's finances, what they found? It was worse than anyone imagined. Amanda had played her role perfectly for years. She had crafted an unbreakable illusion. But there was one thing she couldn't fake. The bank statements, the donation records, the credit card transactions, all of them told the real story. And it was a story of fraud. Investigators subpoenaed Amanda's financial records. They expected to find evidence of medical expenses, hospital bills, pharmacy transactions, oncology appointments. Instead, they found something very different. Every dollar people donated had a destination, and not a single one had ever gone toward chemotherapy. Luxury vacations, five-star resorts, beachside villas, and international travel, designer clothes, high-end brands, personal shopping experiences, custom jewelry, expensive dinners, Michelin-starred restaurants, gourmet meals, top-shelf wines, spa treatments, facials, massages, private wellness retreats, personal loans paid off. Amanda had used cancer donations to clear her own debts. Private school tuition, thousands of dollars funneled into educational costs. Amanda Riley wasn't fighting for her life. She was living like a millionaire. And the people who had donated their last $20 to help save her, they had unknowingly paid for her next vacation. Amanda was careful. She had been running this scam for nearly a decade without being caught. She knew how to keep the lie going. Fake medical documents. Amanda forged paperwork to make it look like she was undergoing treatment. Forged test results. She doctored lab reports to show false cancer diagnoses. Letters from doctors. She created fake letters from physicians confirming her condition. Altered emails. She fabricated messages from hospitals and insurance companies. Misleading bank transactions. She made small withdrawals to appear as if she was paying medical bills. Amanda thought of everything every time someone got too close to the truth. She had an answer ready. Every time someone asked for proof, she produced a forged document. She knew exactly how to silence doubt. Until she didn't. For years, Amanda had gotten away with it. Every time someone questioned her, she talked her way out of it. But now, she was up against something she couldn't manipulate. Bank records don't lie. Law enforcement compared the timelines of her donations and her spending habits. And the evidence, it was undeniable. A $500 donation came in on Monday. By Tuesday, it was spent on a new designer handbag. A $2,000 fundraiser was deposited into her account on Friday. By Saturday, it was used to book a luxury weekend getaway. A $20,000 charity event was held in her name. Not a single cent of it went toward medical bills. Amanda Riley wasn't just lying. She was stealing, and the walls were closing in. Law enforcement knew they had her, but they needed to make the case airtight. Fraud cases aren't just about exposing the crime. They're about proving intent. Amanda's biggest mistake? She left a trail. She wasn't just spending the money recklessly. She was bragging about it. Text messages to friends about shopping trips. Photos of her expensive vacations. Social media posts at high-end restaurants. Digital receipts of every purchase. She had spent years pretending to be sick. But now, her own records were betraying her. And soon, Amanda Riley would face something she never expected. Justice. Amanda Riley's deception wasn't just about money. It was about the people she hurt. Because when you steal from someone's wallet, they can recover. But when you steal their trust, that wound never fully heals. Amanda's scam wasn't just about fooling the public. It was about manipulating emotions. She didn't just steal from strangers. She stole from friends. She stole from people who loved her, people who cried for her, people who prayed for her, people who gave money they couldn't afford to lose because they thought they were saving a life. She stole from people who had experienced real loss. And for them, the truth was devastating. Sarah Thompson was a mother of 3. She had lived through unimaginable pain. Her own sister had died of cancer. She had watched her waste away. She had sat next to her hospital bed, holding her hand, knowing there was nothing she could do. So when she found Amanda's blog, it felt personal. Amanda's story reminded her of everything she had lost. Sarah couldn't save her sister, but maybe she could save Amanda. She donated thousands over the years. She organized fundraisers. She convinced friends and family to pitch in. She spread Amanda's story like it was her own. And when she found out the truth, she felt physically ill. Sarah had relived her sister's suffering through Amanda's posts. She had grieved for Amanda, only to find out there was nothing to grieve. Mark Evans was a high school teacher. He had never met Amanda in person. But her story, it moved him. Every month, he sent a small donation. $50 here, $100 there. He told himself it wasn't much, but it was something. He liked to think of it as hope money. Hope that Amanda would survive. Hope that she would one day be cancer-free. Hope that his donation, his sacrifice, was helping to save a life. Then the scam was exposed. And Mark, he felt like a fool. He had believed every word. He had told his students about Amanda's fight. He had encouraged them to help others, to give, to support people in need. And now, he was left questioning everything. Sarah and Mark weren't alone. Hundreds of people had been deceived. People who had never questioned a single detail. People who had worn Team Amanda t-shirts. People who had joined Facebook groups praying for her recovery. People who had sent money, gifts, letters, and cards, all believing they were helping a woman fight for her life. Now, they felt violated. Some of Amanda's victims didn't just feel betrayed. They felt ashamed. They felt stupid. They asked themselves, how did I not see it? How did I fall for this? How could I be so blind? But the truth? They weren't stupid. Amanda was a master manipulator. She knew exactly what to say to make people believe her. She knew exactly how to make people feel bad for questioning her. She knew exactly how to make people care. And that's why they gave. Not because they were fools, but because they were good people. Good people who just wanted to help. The effects of Amanda Riley's scam didn't end when the truth came out. Because the people she scammed, they were never the same. Many swore they would never donate to another online fundraiser again. They would never give to GoFundMe. They would never support a medical campaign. Because the trust that Amanda had stolen, it was gone. And for those who had truly believed in her, it would never come back. Amanda Riley didn't just steal money. She stole trust. She stole faith. And for the people she deceived, the scars she left behind will never fully heal. So now we turn the question to you. What was the biggest red flag in Amanda Riley's scam? Could she have been caught sooner? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more shocking true crime cases like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. As always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.